Welcome back to Fabio's Fabulous Reviews. I'm Fabio, and today I'll be reviewing the Nintendo Switch 2. So let's get started. Now, after more than 2 weeks of testing the Nintendo Switch 2 each and every day, I've compiled a pros and cons list of the Nintendo Switch 2 and the overall improvements and some of my favorite features. Now, the first pro for the Nintendo Switch 2 is the 1080p display. It's not an OLED panel, but it still does the same thing with the LCD screen it comes with. It has a rich contrast of colors with this new HDR10, which is, I'm telling you, it's really, really good with the variable refresh rate now at 120 Hertz. Now, the performance and the actual display quality is really going to be noticed when you put it in the dock mode, especially if you have a 4K television. Now, another pro to the Switch 2 is the larger panel. It has a 7.9-inch display, which is a bit bigger than the Switch OLED, which was 7 inches, and obviously bigger than the original Switch 2, which was 6.2 inches. And both of those had a 720p output. Now, this, for me, is a huge improvement. It just feels much bigger. It feels better for my hands. I think the other ones were really made for kids because of the small ratio to it compared to this new one. Now, the next pro slash positive to the Nintendo Switch 2 is the backward compatibility, which is exceptional. You can play most of these old games with improved image quality and frame rate due to the new HDR support. Some of these games are running at 40 frames per second, and now they're running at 60 frames per second. And with the 1080p display, it makes it feel and run smoother and look exceptional. Now, the list of pros continue, and one of them is the actual load time. The load time is much faster, and that has been noticeable when playing these games, especially when I'm playing the Splatoon 3, which I really love, and the new Mario Kart World. Another improvement pro that I found, which was noticeable the day that we did the actual installation and the unboxing, was the improvement to the Nintendo eShop. Now, the store's appearance is much cleaner and less cluttered than before. It's more organized, and it's easier to scroll through when looking for these titles that one wants to purchase now. Now, a couple of new features which I've enjoyed, starting off with the Joy-Cons, is going to be the mouse feature. Now, the mouse feature has been more utilized in the new and improved version of the Mario Jamboree, especially with most of the mini games now that you can use this mouse feature, and it's been pretty smooth. We've been using it mostly on our legs and on the couch handrest. The next feature which we've enjoyed is the new chat feature. Currently, what we would do is we would just talk over our phones with our friends and family. But now, since we have another family member that has the actual camera, that has been pretty good to actually see someone and share the games and communicate with them instead of doing it through a second device like your laptop or your actual phone. Now, as for additional accessories, the Switch 2 Pro controller now has these smooth feeling sticks that I've tested. They're precise with their position, and they are snappy with their face buttons. I'm telling you, it feels much different than the actual Pro Controller 1. The Switch 2 Pro controller has had some facelift, obviously, compared to the original. As you can see, the bumpers and the triggers are now in cast of the color of white, which makes it stand out more. The triggers are still fully digitally pressed, and once again, the feel makes it similar to the other one, but the way the layout is a little bit, you can tell the difference. Now, as you can tell from my review, I've really enjoyed playing and purchasing the Nintendo Switch 2. One of my biggest cons, and this is going to be obviously mostly notable, is the actual price. At $535 with American tax and everything here in good old Southeast United States, you are paying almost double the price right now. An OLED Switch 1 is about $250 right now. Not comparing that to the original Switch 1 or even the Switch Lite. You are paying double the price, and that's including the actual Mario Kart World game. Another con that I find is the availability of games. I know 2 or 3 games have come out and we've had backward compatibility with some updates on the previous games, and I guess I just want to try all these new games on the new Switch 2. But the availability of games, I know the next one's going to be the Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I've already pre-ordered, I'm waiting for, and it's still almost a month away. But again, I don't think that's one of their big titles, even though they're promoting it as a big title. But I'm hoping it's going to be really good on this new Switch 2. Now, having the Nintendo Switch 2 for over 2 weeks and playing with it constantly with the family, I, Fabio, give this Nintendo Switch 2 a 4 out of 5 stars. Now to recap, the areas of praise are obviously the performance upgrades, the backward compatibility, the improved resolution and the frame rate, and the general slickness, the responsiveness of the system. Overall, that has been the best thing with the performance and the compatibility with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, as for the areas of disappointment, it's obviously going to be the display. Now, one of those features is having a 4K television. I'm not sure how many people have 4K televisions at home, but I guess if you're paying $500 for a Nintendo Switch 2, you should have a 4K television at home, but I don't. So I'm unable to watch or notice or feel the features of this high resolution games being played when it's docked on the actual system. Another thing is the lack of standout features. There's nothing really new and compelling for you to get this upgrade besides the mouse feature and the chat feature. Another thing that's disappointing is the software in the games. There weren't so many games at launch. Like I stated, it's just Mario Kart World and that's it. And finally, the biggest thing is the actual price that one is paying for this Nintendo Switch 2. Well, once again, this is my review for the Nintendo Switch 2. I hope you subscribe. If you have any comments, please do so. And I want to thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Please be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.